Most people think productivity is working more. I don't think it is. I like to think productivity is creating higher value and impact with very focused attention. I see a lot of people going through the same problem I'm going myself, which is we think we're working really hard and really long hours some days. But in reality, when we take a close look at what we're doing throughout the day, it's just a lot of it is fake productivity, where it seems like we're doing a lot and we're working a lot of time, a lot of hours, but most of the time we're working is very narrow attention. We're getting distracted with the phone. We're having conversations midday. We're getting a call right here. We're answering a couple emails right there or a couple messages. And then sometimes when we're working on something, a little topic pops off, and then we just get into that rabbit hole that takes us 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour. Now it's a whole new project or a whole new task, and we've just completely deviated our attention from the main focus point we had and we're supposed to do today. So the problem is not that we're not doing enough. I think the problem many times is the attention. Think about the Pareto law, where 20% of your effort creates 80% of the results. I don't always think it's about grinding all day long. Like, great if we can do this, great. And we might have to go through a very hard period for some time. But I think if we really focus and ask ourselves this important question every time we attack something, what's the one thing that such by doing, everything else will become easier or necessary? We'll definitely be more likely to find the best answer that will lead us to, okay, what's the highest leverage thing that will bring me the most progress right now? Forget about the rest. I think it's about eliminating and getting rid of excess instead of just doing more things sometimes. Also, think about your environment. Where you are working is very important, and you want to always be able to control as much as you can of it. Think about it. What's the point on sitting down at home to work and record some content while your family is just walking by and is telling you some stuff and you're asking to do some things? Or even if they're saying nothing, you can just still hear them talking in the background. Think of you being in the office and having your workmates around and just, tapping on your shoulder every 5 minutes because they want to go drink some coffee, or they have a little question or a little doubt they need you to resolve. Or even if you don't have any of those distractions, you might just have your phone around, or even your browser on your computer might have like 25 tabs. You're going to keep switching. It's going to get you difficulty to really focus on the most important task. So think of your environment. The more boring your environment is, the more difficult you make it to snap out of your flow and distract yourself every 2 minutes, every 5-10 minutes, the more deep work you'll get done. And if you know what you are working on and what the most important thing is that you need to get done right now, the more progress you'll make. Just do the things that you don't want to do, but you need to do, right? So just don't have your phone around. Put your phone in another room, in another floor, even switch it off if you can and put it in no distraction mode or deep work mode, whatever it is that you can do. But don't even have it around, because even just having it there, when you pick it, because you'll eventually pick it up, you'll just see tons of notifications. Your brain will just snap out of that deep flow you had. You find yourself having gone 10-20 minutes straight into checking multiple apps and checking and answering all notifications. Same the browser app. Just close all tabs and close all applications. Just think of you being allowed to only have the 1 or 2 applications you need to work on right now. Don't multitask. Just focus on getting that thing done. And when you're done, move on to the next one. Also, something that works really well for me is I try to get the most difficult and brain demanding things very early on in the morning. This is the thing that I like to do. I don't like to do brain demanding stuff in the afternoon. I'm tired of all day. I don't have a lot of energy. So I try to do it very early on. And it's like, if I can get that done, the day is done. I could pretty much pack things up and call it a day, but I can still now have 2, 3, 4, 5 hours left in the tank. I have some time to get some more things done, such as shooting content, such as answering those emails, whatever that is. But I try to get the most difficult thing of the day done in the first 2-3 hours in the morning. And also a real game changer for me is pay really close attention to what you do before you get into working. So if you've just been scrolling some content on LinkedIn, some shorts on YouTube, or some reels on Instagram, whatever it is you've been consuming, if you have been doing something that is giving you a lot of dopamine hits and is giving you too much information in your brain, you'll already start work in this kind of distraction state. It will be so difficult for you to get into this deep flow, deep work mode because your brain is just jumpy, right? So instead, I think something that works really well for me is I just read a couple pages of a book, or I just take some breath exercises. I try to really do exercise early on, take a shower, drink some coffee, and then get into working. Mostly I will read some pages of a book, but not too much where I'm just constantly getting like dopamine hits of a lot of information. And last, something that also works really well for me is have some sort of a daily ritual that acts as a closure of the day. So what I usually do is I have these daily waypoints. And what I try and do is in the afternoon, I always take 15, 20 minutes to close the day and prepare for tomorrow. So what I do is the next thing. I always start the daily waypoint with just 3 basic things I'm grateful about the day, 1 about work, 1 about people, and 1 that is personal to me. Then I usually try to write down and think of, okay, what's the biggest win I had today? This just keeps me pumped up and excited about what I did. Then third, I try to think of a 1 lesson, something I learned today that I can bring over to tomorrow, and that is cool. I just try to find there's always many things that you learn each day. It's just about being conscious about what's the biggest lesson I got today. Then fourth is I try to think of a mistake I made. And I've added this one recently and it's really nice. It's very powerful. I want to remind myself that I need to stay humble and listen to people. And so I think by being aware and conscious about the mistakes I make, I will be more open to understanding that, I fuck things up sometimes and it's okay, and be able to see those things and be able to learn from them, I think is very important. And it just so powerful. I usually tie that mistake or lesson to a tiny improvement I could do tomorrow. I just write that down, something I could do better tomorrow than I did today. And then last, I plan tomorrow. I try to think of what's the one thing that if I did tomorrow, everything else would be easier or necessary. What's the one thing that will get me the most progress, and that if I do, I can close the day and I could be super happy and proud of. And I always try to think of narrow it down to one thing. Some days I might have like 3-4 things. I might try to separate the day in blocks if that's the case, but usually I'll just try to narrow it down to just one thing. And hopefully I just calendarize everything, and this is how I close the day. I love these daily waypoints because they're a great spot for me to just close the day, not have to think too much. It indicates my brain that the work's been done. You can go have dinner, you can go for a little walk, maybe watch some World Cup matches and get a good rest. Don't think of anything else right now. So for those of you who, just like me 6 months ago, were thinking about starting to make content, starting your personal brand, and were really unsure on how to start doing it, the one thing I suggest is start very small and commit to doing it. Commit to yourself. If you made yourself a promise and you can't keep it to yourself, think of what promises can you make to other people or to some of your clients. You need to be willing to do whatever it takes. And so just be smart about it and start small. Don't think that you can start creating content just like creators who have been doing it for 4 years already, or people who actually have big teams behind them supporting them to create all this content. If you're alone by yourself, try to go stupid simple. If you can just start making some text posts on LinkedIn, just do that and try to commit to doing, let's say, 3 a week. If you want to go like camera first, like I do a little bit more, try to record yourself 1 video a week. And if you can, the more repetitions you get this time, the better you will get. And you'll suck, and it's okay. I still suck, and I'm still really bad at this. And most times, whenever I finish up a piece of content, I'm never sure if I want to post it or not. And I would just like throw it out and not even use it. But I think the beauty of it is, and you'll find it, every time you show up, and every time you sit here and do the content, and every time you sit here and you said, man, I did what I told myself and I promised myself I would do. This just gets you excited. And I think it's the beauty of it. And just allow the time to compound things. Things just take time. So be patient, but keep your promise to yourself and just show up. And remember, whenever you have an idea and you execute it, try not to go and wait for it to the following day to make it, unless it's just like late night. But if you have the idea, try to make it so that your environment and everything you have, you record it very easily and you record it instantly. Use your phone. You don't need a super cinematic setup to do anything. You can use your phone. You can write a few notes on your Apple Notes. Just create it. You are more ready than you think you are. And I think you don't need to plan more. What you need is to create now, fail quickly, and then learn from that. That's it from me. I'll see you in the next one.